So today we're doing one of my favorite types of workouts. We're working our mobility, which we will do some core work at the end. The only piece of equipment you will need for that is something to squeeze. So either a type of a kid's bouncy ball or a rolled up towel is good for that. All right, so we're going to get started, and we're going to start with our feet at around hip width, just wider, toes pointing sort of forward, a little out if you want. Really, it's up to you how wide we go. And we're just going to start with a few little squats. Now we're not going deep because we're just warming up, so it's just little squats, lengthening out those glutes and just working into it. We're just warming up, so just go as far as feels good. And we're going to combine some thoracic mobility with these. So whilst we're doing our squat, for the first time, I want you to think about reaching over to one side. All right? And then as you get used to like, oh yeah, I can do this, then I want the other hand to cross in front of you. So we're reaching and crossing. That's it. We're just gonna do a few reps here, reach and cross. So what we're doing is we're getting a good rotation in our thoracic area whilst we're working into our hips. All right, let's do 4 more, and 3, 2, and 1. Shake it out a little bit. Give yourself a bit of time there, and we're going to go back into our squats. So again, just little squats. And when you feel ready, we're going to reach overhead again. Reach, reach. Fantastic. And now cross punch, cross. So really think about getting that twist in that thoracic area. Our hips going down and up like this is stopping you from working too much into the waist and the hips, and a little more in that thoracic area. Excellent. Let's do 4 more, and 3, and 2, and 1. Fantastic. Bring it out. Now we're going to go into a little bit more of upper body and into the back line. Again, feet just a little further than hip width. We're going to do one big rotation with our arm and then bring it back again. Other arm, let the hand turn over and rotate. Then we're going to squat and then reach down to your toes, to your shins where it feels good. Come back into that squat and come up again. So arm circle and around, and arm circle and around, and squat and touch, and down and up. And just try and get into a little bit of a deeper squat now if you can, and around and up, and squat and down, squat and up. We're going to do 1 more of these. 1 and around. Great work. Round and up, and squat and down, and squat and up. And we're going to take our feet a little wider apart, and this time we're going to go down into a deeper squat and put your elbows into your knees, and I just want you to rock side to side a little bit. Now if you're up here, that's fine. So if you have prolapse or something along that line and you're not comfortable going down further, then just go where you're comfortable. And now I want you to reach to the floor and again stretch up that back line, and again just a little rock of the hips. All right, so we're just keeping on moving. We're not just stretching. Your knees don't need to be completely straight. You can be up here if you need to be. But now I want you to take both hands to one side, bend the opposite leg, and reach into it. You should feel a great stretch up that side. And rotate round, and bend, and just rolling it up. Great work. We're going to do that again. So coming down and rock, just where you feel comfortable. We're working into our ankles, so that ankle mobility is super important. And now touch and just rock into that hip. All right, remember, your range of movement is your range. Don't follow anybody else's. Just go to where it feels good. So stretching in, so we're getting into that inner thigh there. And around to the other side. And stretch in. Back to that center. Just roll it up. We're going to do this one more time. So bending into it. Hips should be feeling pretty good now. Getting some ankle flexion in there. And touch it down. Just moving. Great thing about mobility is it's all about keeping on moving in a controlled fashion. Bring both hands to one side. Bend that other leg. Again, just go as far as you feel comfortable. You might be up here, and that's okay. All right, and over to the other side. And bend into it. Always notice where you're feeling it. Where's that tightest bit? And rolling up. Wonderful. Shake it out, and we're going to come down onto the ground into a child's pose. So our knees are going to be about hip width apart. Reach the hands forward, and then bring those hips right back. Put your head down, and just take an inhale here. Now I want you to reach to one side and drop the hips to the other side. So you should feel a fantastic stretch up the side and into the lats. And then bring it over to the other side. Take a good breath here. And now we're going to come forward, and I want you to bring one leg forward through into a pigeon pose. Just go to where you feel comfortable. If you can come right in, that's great. If you're back here, that's fine too. Just kind of rock into it. And if you feel comfortable, bring those elbows down and just moving, rocking into that hip, stretching out that piriformis. Now from this position, we're going to bring our elbow up, and we're going to go elbow to elbow and rotate it open. Elbow to elbow, rotate it open. If you're up here, you can just work in this position as well. Bring the other elbow down, repeat the other side, open. You will find one side is much harder because you're rotating against where your leg is. And 3. And let's just push it back, coming back into that child's pose. Really reach forward, stretch it out. And now over to one side. Good inhale. To the other side. Feel a great stretch. And coming forward. Bring that other leg into that pigeon pose and rock into it. Find where it feels good. You should feel a good stretch up into that glute area. And then elbow to elbow. And open. And 2. And 3. Elbow down, other side. In, open, 2, and 3. Great work. We're pushing back into that child's pose. You know the drill now. We're going to do it once more on each side. So rotate and stretch. Rotate and stretch. All the time making sure you're breathing through each movement, coming into that pigeon pose. Find a great stretch for you and into some thoracic mobility too. You'll notice I do a lot of thoracic mobility in my workouts. It's the find that we tend to be the most stuck. From sitting, from nursing, from just not moving enough, from our obliques being too tight. All right, over to one side. And over to the other side. And bringing our foot back into that pigeon pose. And rocking it out. Finding a good position. Should feel like it's getting a little easier this time. And bringing the elbow to elbow. And open. With any of these movements, if it feels good, you can stay in one area or even longer. This is your mobility workout. You do what feels good for you. You want to hold this position instead of keeping moving it. You can do that. And bringing it forward. And pushing it back into that child's pose. Oh, great work. Bringing it up. We're going into a half kneeling position to work into those TFLs and other hip flexors. So we're coming up into a half kneeling. So into this position, make sure both knees are in front of the hips, so don't overcross like this, otherwise you will lose your balance. Then I want you to really squeeze that glute, and we're going to drive it forward and back, and forward and back. If you want, you can put something under your knee. If you have bad knees, you can come into it, into this position, so you can be standing as well. All right, and really squeeze that glute. Notice I'm not coming into this position. That glute is squeezed tight, so I can't really push forward. So you should be feeling it right up here. All right, from that position, so stay here. I'm just going to turn so you can see. You're going to keep squeezing that glute, and now you're going to reach side to side. Now, it's about moving the hips side to side as far as you can go. It's not about just reaching up like this, okay? We want those hips like you are pushing and tapping one side, then tapping the other. But keep that back glute squeezed so you really get into that hip flexor. And now we're going to rotate round, keeping that back hip, that back glute squeeze, 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 and rotate. And again, we're rotating around, keeping that glute squeezed. Awesome. Shake it out. And we're going to go to the other side. So 90-90. Squeeze that back glute. If you want to, you could be standing up and push it forward and back. Keep the glute squeezed so that you really feel it up the front of your leg and all the way into that TFL. Squeeze it hard. Great work. I don't often tell you you can really squeeze your glutes. And up. 2 more. And 1 more. Awesome. And now we're going side to side. So really make sure you squeeze that glute and push it side and side. Really work into the hip, into that hip flexor and side. Push it side to side. Keep that glute squeezed and side, and then rotate, rotate. I love this one because you can actually do it standing as well, which means you can do it throughout the day. It's a great one to just kind of release some of the hip area. And great work. Shake it out. Gonna come down, and I just want you to take a moment, shake out the legs. That can be pretty hard on the knee as well as the quads. We're going to go back into that position, and this next exercise is to really loosen up into the hips and into the pelvic floor. So what we're going to do is come back to our 90-90 position. If you want, grab a towel, put it under your knee. you're going to put one hand, so the same hand as the leg, up, and then you're going to push your hip out to touch the floor and come back in. Push it out and come back in. Now you're working into that internal rotation with that leg and up. And push and up. You could be holding a weight in this hand as well. From the side, I want you to notice that I'm pushing straight to the side. I'm not kind of sitting back like this. Right? That's not doing what we're meant to. We're pushing straight to the side and up. Straight to the side and up. Shake it out. We're going to do it to the other hand, other side. Bring it up. Other hand up. And push to the side to touch and up. There you go. And really work into it. See that angle that we're getting with the other leg. And up. Push and up. Try and keep the arms straight up. Doesn't come over with us. And up. And one more. Great work. Shake it out. We're going to do that again. If you had a weight or something else, you can hold it. So we're going to do this again. First side, you would have the weight up. You'd only want a light weight. And then you're pushing and up. And pushing and up. Great work. This one is amazing for the hips, for the tight pelvic floor, for a lot of release work if you have tight glutes. Two more. And last one. Excellent. Coming back. Arm up. And we're pushing and coming up. If you're worried about any diastasis, you would be exhaling as you come up. But if you're staying in good alignment and working those hips, your core actually won't be working that much here. You're just holding that alignment. There you go. And one more. Awesome. Shake it out. All right. So we've gone through our mobility area. You should feel like your hips have had a workout. You feel like you've got a great thoracic workout. I want you to grab whatever you're doing to press and either a chair or a wall. And we're going to set ourselves up to do a little bit of core work. So we're going to start in a 90-90 position. And I love 90-90 positions for core work because it's lengthening out the glutes and it's lengthening out our back, which means it's much easier to keep the glutes out of it and much easier to keep the back out of your core work. Now, if your bottom of your rib cage still doesn't touch the ground from this position, simply bolster your head with a towel. We're going to start by just putting the ball or the towel here, and I just want you to do a couple of those connection breaths like we've been doing. So we're going to inhale, belly and back, exhale, feel that pelvic floor rise, and the lower belly go in and up. So it should firm up. Put your hand here so you can tell. Inhale, and exhale. Great work. Let's do two more. Inhale, exhale. This should firm. The back should stay still, should stay squishy. Inhale, and exhale. If that feels good, on the exhale next time, I want you to press into the ball or the towel, and I want you to make sure that your legs don't move with it, okay? So you're resisting that press. So you're pressing the ball this way and you're resisting with your legs. You're going to do that on the exhale, And I want you to make sure that you still feel that lower belly go in and up and doesn't bulge down. So inhale, exhale, no glutes. Inhale, relax. Exhale. Start the exhale before you start the press. Inhale, release. Exhale. Feel the pelvic floor rise and the lower belly firm before you press. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Great work. Hold it for a moment. If you found that easy, you can scoot away from the chair or the wall and you can hold your legs here. This is going to really intensify the amount of work your core has to do. So, coming up, either with your feet on the chair or the wall, making sure your back is still squishy. Inhale, belly and back. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, and exhale. This is really hard to keep your legs from moving either inwards or outwards. We want to keep it at 90-90. Inhale and exhale. Take a moment and make sure your lower belly hasn't bulged. Okay? Inhale. Exhale. And one more. Inhale. And exhale. Fantastic work. Get rid of the ball. We're going to go into some knee lifts now. I'm just going to move my chair out of the way. So coming back down, I want you to put one hand under your back. So just around at that bottom of the rib cage, make sure everything's on the ground and make sure your back is squishy. Place the other hand either on your chest if you're a chest squeezer or breather, or on your belly. And I want you to inhale, exhale, pull up and hold. And now I want you to do a couple of little breaths here. Don't allow the air into the stomach and make sure that your back is staying squishy. And now inhale. Feel the pelvic floor fully release. We're going to do a couple of inhales here. And one more. And again. All right, now we're going to do another one where we're going to engage. So inhale. Exhale. Feel the pelvic floor rise. Lower belly firm up. And I want you to keep little breaths, make sure the back stays squishy, and during those little breaths, I want you to pull up from the pubic bone slightly more and lift the weight off the feet, okay? Not so that they're lifted, but just so that they're only just on the floor. So they're maintaining your balance, but they're don't have the whole weight of your leg on the feet. So basically, you've now shifted your weight so your body and glutes are holding more of the weight and the feet are less. All right, now inhale. Fully relax everything. Inhale again. Make sure you do a little bit more belly so that that pelvic floor fully relaxes. Before we do any more core work, we need to make sure our pelvic floor has gone fully back down. And now if that was okay, we're going to go into the knee lifts. If it wasn't, If you're like, whoa, it was kind of hard to like take some weight off my feet, I felt like I pooched, I want you to just stay there. All right, so inhale. Exhale. Feel the pelvic floor rise. Feel the lower belly firm. Pull up a little bit more. Everything stays flat. And then if you're ready, lift the leg off the ground. Now when you do this, nothing except for the leg should move. You're breathing, but no air is going in here. It's very shallow. Your back is still on the ground. Your hips aren't wobbling side to side. If they're wobbling side to side, I want you to come back and I just want you to do little heel lifts. So just lift the heel. So you're taking some weight off the foot, but not the whole lot. And now I want you to inhale, relax. Take a moment, bring your hands back to your belly. Really feel that pelvic floor relax. We're going to do a couple of good inhales here. We've just worked our core. We need that pelvic floor to reset. So if you have a tight pelvic floor and you're like, hang on, Katrina, my pelvic floor has not come back down. I want you to come up into a happy baby pose. And I just want you to breathe here for a moment. Take a moment to get that pelvic floor to reset. If you're doing core work after having a tight pelvic floor, it is essential that you get that pelvic floor to release again before you do your next rep, or even before you do your next Kegel. All right, as long as you feel like you're reset, we're going to do one more. And what you're doing is either just doing a connection breath, just holding it, just doing heel lifts, or going for the knee lifts, okay? So take whatever option is right for you. So inhale, belly and back. Exhale, feel the pelvic floor rise. You may need to Kegel, you may not. Feel the lower belly firm. Feel you're lifting the weight off your feet. Back is still nice and relaxed. And now test it out. Can we do a heel lift without any bulging? If you bulge, stop, reset. If you feel good, lift the knee up and up. The lower belly, monitor it. It shouldn't change its shape. It should stay flat or flatter than relaxed. And stop. Awesome work, guys. Those are hard. If anybody tells you that they're super easy, it's because they're not holding that brace well enough and that core, the back is doing too much work. Okay, let's just do a couple of releasing breaths. So I want you to put your hands on your belly. And now I want you to inhale into the belly. Feel the pelvic floor release. Exhale. Don't cue anything on the exhale. Inhale into the belly. Relax the pelvic floor. Exhale. One more this time. Aim for less air into the belly and more into the back. And relax. And come up into a child's, a happy baby pose. Hands inside or outside, or even up here, whatever feels good for you. And just take a couple of breaths. You can rock if you want. But we really want that pelvic floor to reset. Excellent work, guys. I hope you enjoyed that workout. Make sure you hit that like button and comment below if you did. And I hope to see you again here very soon.